Happy New Year, and welcome back to the Southern Ladies Ramblings podcast. I am today sort of vlogging, podcasting from Jekyll Island, Georgia. It's totally my happy place. We're at Driftwood Beach, and it's low tide. I have lots of exciting things planned for this year on the channel, and I'm going to take you along with me. You will have seen me at the beach at the beginning of this podcast. I don't know how much I introduced it, but I filmed the introduction for this first podcast of 2020 on the beach on New Year's Day last week. Today is now Friday, January 10th, 2020, and I was planning on filming a little more at the beach, but the sun went away and it got really, really cold. So we did not stay long. So we say we had the quickest beach trip in history. I drove most of the day. We spent 3 hours at the beach. It's a 3.5 hour drive. So 3.5 hours there. We spent about 3.5 hours at the beach and drove back home another 3.5 hours. But we took the scenic route back home, so yeah. I'll pop some pictures in, or I may have already popped some pictures in. So let's get going on this podcast. I'm excited about 2020. I have lots of plans. I've even started really planning with my new Erin Condren, which I've always been a planner nerd, totally a planner nerd. So my best friend gifted me a gift card for Christmas and said I could not use it on anything but myself for something I really wanted. Well, I knew I needed a new planner, so I bought the new Erin Condren softbound. I've done bullet journaling for the past few years, and so this is what I have been doing, and it ended up turning more into my sermon notes. It went from being a pretty much real planner at the beginning. Sorry, it's washing out. I'm taking advantage of this beautiful natural light today. It went from being a real planner to being more my sermon notes, which I really like it. So it's still got a few pages left, and I'm going to use every bit of it for my sermon notes, because I really like doing that. Like on Wednesday nights, at our church, I run the screens, and so I actually get to take a little more notes because I actually am sitting at a desk. So yeah, I get a little more notes on Wednesday nights, but I really, really, really love taking sermon notes, and so that's what I've been using. But this year, I'm planning on this, so I'm hoping to have lots more videos. I've got a lot that are planned for this year. I will have pop this down the floor. I have got some new tutorials that I'm planning. If you followed me during Vlogmas, there was a tutorial I did on making crocheted cup cozies, and I sort of went a little crazy making these. They're pretty much part of my FOs. Like, all of these are finished. All of these are finished. I gifted a whole bunch so that my husband cut these out, because I'm actually going to start selling them out at a local coffee shop, or at a couple of local coffee shops, hopefully in the near future. And so I also made some with these cute little flowers. But yes, I've made over 100 in December. When I get to my works in progress, you'll see that I still have a big, huge box that the ends need woven in. So, but these are really, really fun. And so I've made, like, as I said, over 100 of them. And my husband's in the process of making me some wooden boxes to go along with, that are going to fit this size, to go along with this. So that's how they'll be displayed in the stores. And I was like, they're so cute. But yeah, I've been making them with the little, I had a whole bunch of acrylic stash, and because I found that acrylic is better than cotton at keeping your hands from getting so hot when you're using these, because I had made some cotton ones and I just didn't like the way they felt. They're great for in the summer when you're drinking a cold drink and you want it to get that condensation, but when you're drinking something hot, this actually works so much better. So I was busting through my acrylic stash. Well, and if you notice up here on the wall, I may pop a picture in, there is a whole bunch that I balled up or caked up, and so I've been going through that. I also bought a whole bunch of the Big Twist acrylic when Joann's was having their big, huge, Yarnormous sale. So yeah, I bought a whole bunch, and I have made a whole bunch. So yeah, that's what these are, and I still have a whole slew. I mean, I make these while I'm watching something, or I carry a little bag in my car. So when someone else is driving, I get to make a whole bunch of these. It takes me about 15 minutes to make a cozy and about 5 minutes to make a flower. So 20 minutes altogether. So I can pop out a few in an episode of watching something on Netflix. So that's what I've been doing. This one here, this bag is just some acrylic cakes that you can't really see, but that's what these are. They're a whole bunch of little acrylic cakes that I'll either make flowers or cozies while I'm out and about. This one is actually really easy to keep up with, and because I've memorized the pattern for both the flower and the cup cozy, I can make a lot. So it's actually pretty good. So this is my first finished object of 2020. I actually started it during Vlogmas. I'd planned on doing it as a blanket, and it was going to be my scrappy granny blanket. I didn't want to do a granny stripe, so I ended up doing a granny square. And let's see, I'm going to turn around this way. And something popped up on YouTube while I was looking up crochet stuff, and it was this cocoon blanket or cocoon sweater, and I was like, that would be perfect. And I crazy love color, but I have a tendency not to wear it as much as I do putting it out. So I decided, yeah, why not? So this is about 200, maybe 250 grams of sock yarn. I'm going to put a recipe up for my Patreons and on how to do this, because I've made one with sock yarn just using a magic ball. I actually used the surgeon's knot, not the magic knot, because the magic knot sometimes will come out on me. I don't know why. I've never had good luck with it. So the surgeon knot, I'm going to also put up how to do that for my Patreons. But yes, this is one that really, sorry about that, there we go. This is one that has really, you wouldn't think with all the holes and being that it's a sock yarn, but it's super warm. And especially because it hits right around my neck just right. It's very, very warm, and I really like it. And as I said, it was originally supposed to be a blanket, but I'm loving it as a sweater because I really didn't need any more blankets in this house. We have a blanket obsession, I think. My girls love blankets. So, getting back to the next finished object, I don't think I've shown these on the podcast. This is another way I was starting to burn through my acrylic stash before I started making the cup cozies. And that is making little knitted dolls. So I made this one with the skirt. Crazy me decided to wait till it was stuffed to put the skirt, to knit the skirt on. Never again. If I make one of these, I will always make sure, sorry, it's blowing out. There we go. I will make sure to knit the skirt before I stuff it. It was a pain in the neck. It took me almost as much time to knit the skirt as it did to knit the whole little bear. And this one was my first one, and I really think the little cat is cute. I want to make some more. I actually went and picked up some safety eyes because I like that look of the safety eyes better than the stitched eyes. And I thought about I might get some little safety nose pieces as well. But yeah, these are fun. And then this one, which, as I said, I would rather have safety eyes on him. So, but that was those 3 that I knitted. I'm going to put them in, I have them stored in a little bag right now, and they're going to be baby gifts. So I'm going to try to make up a few every so often and just throw them in the bag. So when I need a baby gift, because I'm always late getting baby gifts, always. And I will knit baby socks, and they won't get there until the baby's too big to wear them. So, yeah, no. Those are really good. Now, if you knit fast, you can knit up baby socks and then give them prior to the baby being born. Because I do have a baby sock pattern, which I'll link down below. It's called Baby Sock Doo 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 Doo. Yes, my kid said, makes them think of Baby Shark. But that was what popped in my head when I was trying to find a name for it. Yes, so I was going to show, since I've already shown these, this is another option. I crocheted a donut, but I think it's going to take too much time and it's too big. So, but yeah, cute little donut. I thought about putting it on. I doubt I will. Another thing, since it seems like lately it's been the month of crochet. It's up for what's in my works in progress, which I'll get to those in a minute. I made some little face scrubbies, and I remember why I hate crocheting with cotton. These were so hard on my hands making these little puffs that I don't think I will ever crochet with cotton. Not something like this, maybe something simple, but not these little puffs. But yeah, they're cute, but next time I'm going to make them without the puffs. But I made those 2. Yes, my finished object basket is actually pretty good. I finished, well, almost finished. I got to weave in the ends. Another pair of shorty socks, just based on my shorty sock pattern on Ravelry. My favorite shorties. Actually, this was like my favorite striped shorty, but without the stripes. So, yes, I'll link to you can actually find my patterns on Ravelry down below. There's a link that takes you straight to my patterns. But yeah, that was these. I really like this yarn. It is by Rayburn Yarns. It's really pretty. Another thing I've been playing around with is making like functional crochet that can be used for something else. This is an earring pattern I found, and I ended up putting it on a key clip. So yeah, it's washing out. There we go. So there we go. It's but yeah, it's a little cream yarn that I actually got from my fiber share partner. I made a headband ear warmer for my daughter and still had some left, so I decided to use it to make these. Made a little bit smaller one. It's got a lobster clasp on it. And an even smaller one. Really fun. And then I gotta weave in the ends on this one, but it's a gray one. My second finished object of 2020. I still can't believe 2020. Oh my goodness. Is another cocoon sweater, cardigan. This time I actually made this week. I started it. I've had vertigo really bad for the past few days. And so I started it on Tuesday. I had this yarn. It was a discontinued yarn from Hobby Lobby. I got it on clearance. I think I totally paid for 4 balls. It was 2 balls of this gray to cream gradient and 2 balls of the pink to black gradient. I paid like $8, and I now have another really pretty cocoon sweater, and I still have a pretty good bit of this second ball of this cream to gray, and I'm thinking about adding a shell. I saw one on YouTube, and during my whole little foray into these cocoon cardigans. And I'm thinking I may put a shell stitch or some sort of border stitch on this. That's what I'm thinking. It's really, really, really pretty. I can't try it on right now. So yeah, I really, really love this one. And it was my, as I said, 3 days, and it was done. Let's talk about whips. Oh my. My oldest whip is in here. Still chugging away, adding some rounds here and there. My mother brought me this beautiful yarn back from her trip to Israel this past summer, and I absolutely love it. It's going to be a square shawl that I'm knitting up, and yeah, every time I pull it out I try to add a few stitches. It starts out with this bright, like really bright green, and it goes slowly to all the way through cream to this beautiful brown. She had a yarn shop right up, like 2 doors from her hotel in Jerusalem, and it is yarn art. So it's yarnart.info. It is I think it says it's made in Turkey, but it has Turkish and Russian lettering on it. So it has 1,093 yards for 250 grams. So it's a good finger, it's in between, it's about a fingering weight. And I'm knitting it up on my Chalgoos. These are not the Chalgoo interchangeables. These are it's a size, well, I don't know what size these are. I'm thinking that they're there it is. It is a Chalgoo size 4, 3.5 millimeter needles. So yeah, I've been working on that off and on. Every time I open the bag, I try to add a few stitches. Most of the time I'll try to add a round or two. It's in my Pearl Soho bag that I picked up while I was in New York last year. It's blowing out. Or not last year. It's 2000. In 2018 I picked this up at Pearl Soho. So yeah. My next work in progress is a sweater that I'm sort of improvising. I had 2 skeins of this yarn that came from Knit Crate, probably back at the beginning of 2018, maybe 2017. And I had 2 skeins of it. It's a DK weight. I picked up 2 skeins of Bernat Vintage when I was at the beach a couple of months ago. If you see a pattern here, I went to the beach 4 times last year, which is not bad. I really liked it. So this is a cardigan that I am improvising using a couple of different, just basically it's a raglan cardigan. I'm changing every 12 rows, but instead of giving a perfectly straight stripe, you can see I just slipped every other stitch. This one's been in the bag for a little while. It's starting to get wrinkled. But yeah, I slipped every other stitch so that there's not a smooth transition. I didn't want a smooth transition. I wanted it to really give a different look for when this one was doing. But yeah, I'm improvising it. I'm going to pick up stitches along the edge when it's done to add some ribbing. I'll probably do a full length sleeve on this one. At least that's my plan. I went from the light gray. I finished the light gray so I could have enough light gray to do the sleeves. Started on the dark gray. Still have that much left. I probably have about maybe 40 grams left of the red. And yes, it is this one. I cast on in November, and it works. It's working out that way. It'll get done. May not this winter, but it will get done. My other work in progress was my Christmas Eve cast on. I've done one. So I love fingerless gloves. It's always pretty good. I love fingerless gloves. This yarn I got in my Fibershare package, and I still have a pretty good bit left. So I'm probably going to be able to make these and do a set of shorty socks with it. My next finished object, or no, not finished object, I'm working on whips. Okay. Is going to be a headband for my daughter, earwarmer. What I'm going to do, I'm just knitting it up. She picked this out of my acrylic stash. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold it and fold it and then seam it together to make one of those twisted ear warmers. But that one is going along nicely. It'll be done fairly soon. So this little bag is for when I want to make my little mini socks. I've been making a whole bunch of mini sock ornaments. And so I threw in, these are just enough to make one. So it's pretty much, they're too small to make anything else, but big enough to make those. And so that's one that gets thrown in my purse. So I can at least work on those. And last but not least, the crazy box of cup cozies. Yes, all of these are done except for weaving in the ends. Totally need to do that. Hate weaving in ends. But yes, anybody want to come weave in my ends? I'll be more than happy to hand you this box. Yes. I've even tried to bribe my daughters into learning how to weave in ends to get these done. But yeah, it doesn't really take that long. It's just I don't want to do it. So yes, that was the last of my whips. I am doing a non-fiber related challenge this year, and it is from the Book Snobbery on Instagram, and it is called Read Your Books. Hashtag read your books. I grew up in a bookstore, so needless to say, I love books. This is my first stack that I have right here on my desk to remind me to read my books. Because I like collecting books, but I don't always finish them. So, some of these I have read at least a couple of chapters, especially on the nonfiction ones. I'll go through and read the chapter that interests me the most. I'll put some links in the description box below to the books that are in this stack. And I am an Amazon affiliate, so if you click the link, you don't have to use my link, but if you do, it does support this channel. And so I will put a link to all of these, some social media books, taking perfect pictures, some nonfiction, and some fiction. I do like a mix of books. So I hope you all have a wonderful rest of the week or the weekend whenever you watch this. Again, this is January 10th, 2020. It's Friday morning. Yay. When you work from home every day, Friday doesn't really make a difference. So, yes. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you click that like button, hit that subscribe and that bell icon so you don't miss anything. And I will see you next time.